Cisco Anyconnect, Duo, SAML with Active Directory, ISE for authorization, and we're going to use posture assessment. So we'll do downloadable ACLs. First thing, we're going to update the posture elements within ISE. So very quickly, go in and hit update now if you haven't done that and get that scheduled. Once that's complete, in my case, it's already been done. We go ahead and we're going to go to client provisioning and we're going to go to resources. And we're going to add a Cisco provided package, and this is where we're going to deploy Anyconnect, so the web deploy. So you'll already have this previously downloaded. Go ahead and upload that. And then the next element we're going to upload, once we validate the SHAs, right, that we got the right executable, we're going to go ahead and download the ISE posture element. Let's go ahead and select Cisco provided package. We'll choose the file and we'll grab the ISE compliance web deploy package, and we'll go ahead and submit that as well. And so if we don't have the right Anyconnect agent or we don't have the ISE posture node, now we can certainly push that out. Okay, from here, we'll go ahead and do the Anyconnect posture profile configuration. We'll give it a name. And there's lots of elements in here to configure. You can do stealth mode. You can do rescan button. You can disable UAC prompt. Lots of different features you can enable. We're not going to focus on any of those in this session, but we will make one entry that you have to make, and that is the server name rules under posture protocol. And we're going to put an asterisk here, and this will just mean anything, right? And so this is a list of wildcarded comma separated names that define the servers in which the agent can connect. As an example, Cisco.com. Again, there's warning titles, warning descriptions, etc. We'll go ahead and hit apply. Again, the goal here is to show you how to get it built and tested. We'll go ahead and hit add, and now we're going to do an Anyconnect connection configuration. So this is where we're pulling everything together. So the package is going to be 4.9. We want the ISE posture. We want VPN. We might also want the DART, right? The diagnostic and reporting tool. We'll grab that ISE posture. That's the configuration we just built, but we also want to grab that compliance module. So make sure that you grab that. And we've got some other configurations here around updates. We'll go ahead and hit submit. And now we'll go into client provisioning policies, and we're going to create a policy, and we're going to be very specific here. We're going to do Windows 10 as an example instead of Windows all. Now you certainly could apply this to all Windows systems, but I'm just trying to show you some of the capabilities within the platform. So go ahead and select Windows 10. So we've got a name, identity groups all, Windows 10. We're not touching any additional conditions. And again, here we're going to give a result. And that result's going to be that Anyconnect configuration that we just built out. So go ahead and hit done. And now we have our client provisioning policy built. We'll save that out. And now we'll go to policy elements, results, and actually it's in conditions first. Let's go to conditions, and we'll go to the posture module, and we're going to build out a file condition. You can see the list here: anti-malware, application condition, data encryption, USB condition. So you can build out these conditions, and if they aren't met, then the asset would fall under non-compliance. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to do a file check, very simple file check on the asset. This is something you could deploy to all of your images and embed them somewhere. And again, it's just an additional condition. In this case, I'm just going to put this file in temp, or I'm going to look for this file in temp. And if it's not there, FE80.txt, then it's going to fail posture. It's just a quick, easy way to test that posture is working. And then you can get a little bit more elaborate, right? Making sure that signatures are in place, right? You have maybe a certain application installed. So now we'll go back to results. We'll go to posture, and then we'll go into requirements. And here you can see there's a whole bunch of them already pre-built. We're going to copy one of these and just, or create one above it. Doesn't really matter. And we're going to modify it for our specific use case. Go ahead and select the operating system like we have before. We'll go ahead and select 4.x or later. We're going to use Anyconnect. And for conditions, what we're going to do is go ahead and add that file condition that we just created. So let's go ahead and do that. Select user defined. We'll select file conditions. And there's our VPN posture file check. And we'll enter a message here. So I just copied it in, but if this file is missing, call the help desk, etc., right? Maybe you give them a link, whatever. But we'll go ahead and hit done. Actually, let's go back and edit that and fix that to VPN posture. Hit done. Go ahead and hit save. All right, so now we've got our posture requirement done. Let's go ahead and move into posture. And we will create a posture policy. So you can see there's a ton of pre-built ones again here. None of them are enabled, but we're going to go ahead and duplicate. We're going to give this one a name. VPN posture policy, Win10, any identity group. We're going to go ahead and select Windows All and then drill down to Windows 10. 4.x or later. We're going to use Anyconnect. And conditions, other conditions, we're going to skip. And then we'll move on to adding that VPN posture requirement element that we just created. So let's go ahead and do that. Select it. We'll go ahead and enable this and we'll save it. All right, let's move to downloadable ACLs. So we're going to create 3 ACLs, one for posture compliant, one for posture unknown, and one for posture non-compliant. So let's go ahead and add. And the first one is going to be very specific. It's going to allow access to do DNS queries, get to ISE servers 80 and 443, and that's for unknown posture. The next one that we're going to create is going to be, we're going to duplicate the original, even though there's very little that we're duplicating here. And this is going to be posture non-compliant. And so we're going to restrict access to the internal network, but we're going to allow access to anything if it's not internal, as an example. So go ahead and hit save. And the final one we're not going to use, but I'm going to create it, is full access. So this will be posture compliant, permit IP any, and go ahead and hit save. Now, the reason why I'm not using this one is because I have a sales, an IT, and an HR downloadable ACL that I'm going to reference instead if you pass compliance. So let's have a quick peek here. We see sales, IT, and let's look at HR as an example. And you can see there's a deny IP 8.8.8 and then a permit IP any. So we'll go ahead and move to authorization profiles. Now this is tying the downloadable ACLs or web redirects to an authorization profile that we're going to use an authorization policy. So let's go ahead. This is VPN posture redirect. So we're going to go ahead and grab that downloadable ACL, as well as making sure that we're doing client provisioning. So this is so we can download and install the client elements, posture and Anyconnect. Redirect ACLs on the ASA itself. I'll show you that. It comes up a little bit later. And then we're going to make sure it hits the client provisioning portal. We'll save that out and we'll go ahead and create 2 more. Give this a name. VPN posture non-compliant. So this is if you fail compliance. Downloadable ACL. It's going to be the posture non-compliant DACL. And we'll submit that. And then the final one is the authorization profile that's going to tie the full access or permit IP any downloadable ACL. Again, we're not going to use this one, but just to round it out, if you're keeping the same name and you were keeping it simple, you can certainly use this one instead. And go ahead and hit save. Now I have authorization profiles for sales, HR, and IT that just reference their respective downloadable ACL. So no magic there. Finally, let's get this all tied together here. So let's go into our authorization policy and we're going to make some modifications and some additions. So we're going to add a couple of policies here, but first we're going to go ahead and we're going to modify the VPN ADIT policy. And we're going to do this for the sales and HR elements as well. So we'll add new. And so what we want to do is we know we already got a downloadable ACL. We're looking for IT group. But what I want here is I want to be able to say, in order for you to get this authorization policy, I need you to be compliant. So we can go ahead and do a quick search for posture, and this will be compliant. That will be the outcome. And we'll do the same for sales as well as IT. So pretty simple. Again, just come in and modify. We'll hit new. We'll go ahead and drop that box down and we'll type in posture instead of searching for it. And then we want posture status, and we want it to equal to compliant. We'll go ahead and do HR again, exactly the same. So rinse and repeat here. So that'll take care of if our IT users, our HR users, our sales users are compliant, then they'll get the authorization profile that has a downloadable ACL that's specific for that individual group. Okay, let's go ahead and add the remaining 2 policies that we require. So we'll go ahead and duplicate here. And we'll give this a name of posture non-compliant. We'll go ahead and edit the conditions. We'll remove Active Directory elements that we're referencing here. We don't need them. And then we'll change this to non-compliant. And that's it for this policy. We'll go ahead and hit use, and let's modify the authorization profile assigned to it. So we'll get rid of HR, and we're going to go ahead and search for the VPN posture non-compliant authorization profile. So that looks good. We'll go ahead and add another one for unknown. So the way it's going to work is if you're compliant and part of an Active Directory group that we've called out, you're going to hit those top 3 policy. If not, you're going to move into non-compliance. again, if that's the posture status. And if it comes back as unknown, meaning we don't know your posture status, now we're going to finally hit this final policy here. So we'll go ahead and select unknown. We'll use this policy, and then we'll modify that authorization profile. And we're going to look for the unknown here. So VPN posture redirect in this case. Okay. We'll save that out. We'll go to Radius Live Logs. But first, let's create that access control, that redirect. So I'm just going to show you again, pause the video to have a look at the actual access control entries. I'm not going to do every single one just because it's a lot of watching, more of the same. The only element that changes is maybe the service, the destination, etc. So we'll go ahead here. We're looking for UDP domain. We're going to add that service. And that deny is actually allowing access to it. And a permit is denying access to it. It's just the way the redirect policy or ACL works. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out. So we'll log in as HR1. And let's see what happens here. So we'll do our push policy. We'll accept that push. And we can see our group policy is deployed. And we're establishing a connection. Looks pretty good. We're connected. Device security check. So detecting if Anyconnect is installed. In our case it is, but we don't have the Anyconnect posture module. So we can go ahead and download that right from here. It talks and gives you a little guidance in regards to what you need to do. But the user can certainly go through this process on their own. Obviously, if it's part of an image, you're not going to have this as an issue. But it just shows that we can empower the user to remediate their issues and move forward. In this case, it's around client provisioning. So we'll go ahead and get that installed. Installation is complete. Now it's checking. It's scanning the system. And you can see there's a time window. You have 4 minutes to complete this. Now you can extend that based on the configuration file for ISE posture compliance. So here it's saying that we have a missing file. So let's just see how easy this is. So if we went in and created a temp directory, because we don't even have that, we go ahead and create the file. Go ahead and type that in. We can then hit start and let's see what happens here. Updating. You have internet access through this network and it's compliant. Cool. That worked. Now that could have been maybe a link instead. Maybe you want a link that the user can go to and authenticate again a second time and then pull down that file by pushing a button, as an example, as things that I would consider. All right, let's check the live logs itself. We can see we've got change of authorization here. We can see there's that ACL, that HR downloadable ACL. There's the HR1 user. There's the client IP address. All positive. Let's just check that show access list and let's see if there's a reference in there for that HR DACL, and we can see that right here. So deny 8.8.8 and then permit IP any. Awesome. So that worked perfectly. So again, we're about 20 minutes in. We've got a fully functioning VPN connection that does ISE posture. So let's log in as HR1 again. We'll send a push. We'll go ahead and use Duo and authenticate that push. For our second factor, we'll go ahead and accept our group policy banner here. That's letting us, it's just a banner, but letting us know what group policy is being applied. And we'll go ahead and start that process again. And you can see here, I removed the file because I wanted to show you that you can actually come in here and look at the message. So if you go ahead now and start that process, it says the following file is missing. Call the help desk. So again, you can provide some guidance to the user. I just wanted to show you that piece as well. Anyways, 21 minutes, fully configured ASA with ISE using posture. And finally, one more thing I think I should show is if I come into the live logs and say for whatever reason I want to punt that user off, I can do it right from here. I don't need to go into the ASA to do that. So session terminated, and you can see it's already showing as disconnected. Really cool.